Hi everyone, it's Becca with Yoga Heights and also Carmen, one of our students at Yoga Heights. This is a 60-minute power flow class. Can everyone hear me okay? Let me know if you can't at any point, but we're gonna get started. 60-minute power flow class, standing at the top of our mats, big toes to touch, heels slightly apart. You take the feet hip-width distance apart, softening the gaze over the tip of your nose or closing the eyes. Take these first few moments of class just to arrive here into your body and your breath. Start to fire up that Eje Pranayama victorious breath. As you inhale, take a full breath in, sealing the lips. As you exhale, constrict the back of the throat, making an oceanic sound. Let your breath for the next 60 minutes be your metronome and also inform you with what you will be doing for the rest of class. Take about 6 more cycles of breath at your own pace. And this might be where you set an intention or dedication for your practice, whether that's a word, phrase, energy you want to carry with you throughout class, or sending some love or good thoughts to someone or something that's close to your heart. After your last cycle of breath, bring hands to heart center, pressing the thumbs into the heart space. Opening class with one collective breath together. Take a full breath in. Open mouth. Slowly start to blink the eyes open if they've closed. Surya Namaskar, a traditional sunays. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Palms might come together to touch, gaze at your thumbs. Exhale, forward fold, trace the midline. Let your neck and head be heavy for this first one. Inhale, slide the hands up onto the shins, halfway lift, look forward. Lengthen through the spine, low belly pulls in. Exhale, plant the palms, come out to your high plank and hold here. Shoulders are over the wrists, heels are driving back. You can stay here lifted on the toes or drop down to your knees. Take a deep breath in. On the exhale, squeeze the elbows in for this first one. We'll lower all the way down to our bellies. Untucking the toes. Inhale, lift the chest up, baby cobra. Send your hips up and back to your downward facing dog. So know that you can always adjust your vinyasas, that low push-up to upward facing dog and downward facing dog. You can also skip them completely at any point during class. Your practice, your choice on how you want to get back to downward facing dog each time. Take one more full breath in. Sealing the lips, slowly exhale out. Inhale, step or hop to the front of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Arms reach up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center or by the side. Starting to move with breath. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, trace the midline, forward fold. Inhale to your flat back, look forward. Exhale, plant the palms, step or jump into your chaturanga. Beautiful. Inhale, upward facing dog if you're flowing. Send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Maybe pedaling out the feet or taking one knee down or another. So know that for the next 60 minutes, you can always adjust as needed. I try to give lots of options during class, but know that child's pose is always an option if you ever want to take a moment to come back to your breath or to take rest. Last breath in. Empty it out completely. On your next inhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Exhale, bow low. Arms reach up and overhead, drive through your feet. Hands to heart center or by the sides. Last one on your own. Move with your own breath. Add in anything that you'd like. This doesn't have to be faster, slower. Just move with your own pace and your own breath. Once you get to downward facing dog, gaze will be in between the feet or maybe at the navel if the neck allows. Pressing into all 10 finger pads, root down through the inner webbing in between the thumbs and the index fingers. Last breath in. Complete exhale out. Empty it all out. Inhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Arms reach up and overhead. Hands to heart center or by the side. Surya Namaskar B, traditional sun Bs. Bring your big toes together to touch, heels slightly apart. Take a seat chair pose. So you can reach the arms up towards the ceiling. Hands can either be wide, or maybe you bring the palms together to touch and gaze at your thumbs. Pull the navel in towards the spine. Sink down 2 inches deeper. Feel the quads. Last breath in. Exhale, forward fold, let it all go. Inhale to your halfway lift. Exhale, plant the palms, step or hop into your low push-up. Upward facing dog if you're flowing, high heart. Downward facing dog. Right foot steps towards the front of your mat. Rising up, warrior one. Left foot spins down. Right knee tracking over right ankle. And then you're pressing really firmly into the outer edge of your left foot. Trying to swing your left hip forward and slightly draw your right hip back. Nice, Carmen. Take one more full breath in. Exhale, hands frame out your right foot. Your options, you can either step back. Maybe you keep the right foot lifted as you lower down into your low push-up. Or maybe you press straight back to downward facing dog. No vinyasa, no problem. Left foot steps towards the front of your mat. Rising up on your inhale, warrior one, Virabhadrasana A. Same on this side. Left foot, left knee tracking over one another. And your right outer foot is pressing into your mat very deeply. Last breath in. Exhale, hands frame out your left foot. Take your path to downward facing dog. Once you get to downward facing dog, we have lots of options. Option one, stay in stillness. Option two, cool down, take rest, child's pose. Remember that's there for you if you ever want to take a moment to come back to your breath or to take rest. Last option, maybe you take fire floats. Fire floats. And if you're doing this at home, make sure that you're in a space where you will be able to kind of move around and hop around, safety being the priority. You'll walk your feet towards the center of the mat. Maybe your big toes come together to touch. Press into the palms of the hands, gazes forward. Inhale, hop up, knees to chest, beautiful. Exhale, lower down. Maybe you catch a little hang time, maybe you don't. This will build even more heat, but remember, these are just options. Feel free to add, edit, omit, delete. Last cycle of breath. Downward facing dog. Step or hop to the front of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Take a seat, chair pose. Exhale, forward fold, let it all go. Beautiful. Inhale, flat back. Nice breath. Exhale, plant the palms, step or jump, low push-up. Upward facing dog, heart shines through. Downward facing dog. Right foot steps towards the front of your mat. Rising up on the inhale, Virabhadrasana A. After you get to the top of your breath, exhale, hands frame out your right foot. Take your path to downward facing dog. Left foot steps towards the front of your mat. Rising up, full breath in. Exhale, hands frame out your left foot. Empty out the breath all the way through to your downward facing dog. Once you get to downward facing dog, stay in stillness. Cool down, take rest, child's pose. Fire floats, or if you want, you can start to build more shoulder strength, stability, and also core work. So coming into a forearm plank. You'd come out to your high plank, and then dropping the forearms down. If you want to get more into the shoulders, you'll push through the shoulders. Yeah, nice, Carmen. Activating and protracting the shoulders across the back. Heels are driving back, navel to spine. Last cycle of breath. Downward facing dog. Take a full breath in. Seal the lips, slowly exhale out. Step or hop to the front of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, bow low. Take a seat, chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold, last one. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, plant the palms, step or jump, chaturanga, low push-up. Upward facing dog if you're flowing. Downward facing dog, right foot steps towards the front of your mat. Using your own breath, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, hands frame out your right foot. Take your path to downward facing dog. Left foot steps towards the front of your mat, rising up on the inhale, warrior one. Exhale, hands frame out your left foot, downward facing dog. Last chance at fire floats. Maybe you stay in stillness, cool down, take rest, child's pose, or you can come into that forearm plank. Ask yourself what it is that you need this evening. That changes day to day, practice to practice. Honor where you are, not where you want to be. Last cycle of breath. Downward facing dog. Step or hop to the front of your mat, halfway lift. Forward fold, exhale. Take a seat, chair pose. This time, interlace the fingers, press them towards the ceiling. Shoulders away from the ears, lengthening. Exhale, Ardha Utkatasana. Belly over the thighs. Gaze will go down towards the toes, pushing the hands forward. Stay here, weight is heavy in the heels, or shift the weight forward, come into your iron footstool for 3. Squeeze the legs as if they're one unit, 2. Exhale, forward fold on 1, let it all go. Option 1, grab opposite elbows, heel to the feet, hips width distance apart, ragdoll. Option 2, Malasana Yogi squat, heels in, toes out, hands to heart center, walking the feet out as wide as the mat. Or last option, plant the hands down, shoulder width apart. Thank you, Carmen. Plant the hands shoulder width apart, gazes forward. Bakasana, crow pose. Knees will come into the triceps, shifting the weight forward. Maybe one foot comes off the ground or both. Heels towards the seat. If you're up, wherever you are, we'll be here for 3. 2, take your path to downward facing dog on 1. Nice. We will all meet in downward facing dog. Collectively coming together, take a full breath in. Seal the lips, slowly exhale out. Right foot steps towards the front of your mat, rising up, warrior one. Virabhadrasana A, we've been here before, so set your stance. And notice if that left hip is having a hard time swinging forward, you can always heel toe those feet even wider apart. You don't have to be heel to heel. You can always be on train tracks. Interlace the fingers at the back. Punch knuckles down, deep breath in. Exhale, humble warrior. Right shoulder on the inside of the right knee. Notice what your back foot is doing. Can you press even more into your left foot to shift your left hip forward? And then draw your right hip back, squaring the hips off. On your next inhale, rise up, warrior two, Virabhadrasana B. Gazes over your right middle finger. Navel to spine, hips and shoulders align with one another. Coming into triangle pose, straighten through the front leg, shorten your stance as needed, reach forward, forward, forward. Right hand drops wherever it lands, lifting the left arm up. So notice how Carmen's hand is hovering in space. You can always do that. Maybe the right hand comes to the shin, the ankle, whatever you need this evening. And then can you rotate, externally rotate your left hip out, creating space. Beautiful. Slowly start to frame out your right foot. Revolve your triangle. Walk your left foot up a little bit. Yeah, feet can be even wider apart. Your left hand will come to the inside, outside, or right on top of your right foot. Right arm reaches overhead. Try to push both hips back and lengthen through your spine as your crown of head moves forward. Slowly start to frame out your right foot, standing split. Maybe tenting up to the fingers or planting the hands down. Use this as a hamstring stretch, lifting your left leg up really high. Take a full breath in. On the exhale, Shiva squat, left knee behind the right and curtsy. Nice. Inhale, find length. Exhale, curtsy. One more time, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, curtsy, pause here. Option one, stay exactly where you are, squeezing the left knee in towards the center line. Option two, hands to heart center. Last option, plant hands both in front. Right knee will come towards a tricep. Right hip and left hip are shifting towards the right, coming into your one-legged crow pose. 3. Nice, Carmen. Maybe you extend, no worries at all. And we'll all meet in warrior two. Slowly take that left foot back. Inhale, flip right palm, reverse your warrior, reach back. Maintaining the bend in the front knee, 90-degree bend. Exhale, extended side angle, right forearm to right thigh. Left arm reaches towards the front. Pinky spins down. Chest moves up towards the ceiling. Imagine like you're trying to shine your entire chest up towards the ceiling, or your right hand can come down. If you're bringing your right hand down, you will bend deeply or flex deeply into your right hip. Half bind or full bind if it's in your practice, and if you want to take it into Bird of Paradise, go for it. We have plenty of time, but no rush at all. Remember, if you don't get the bind, that's totally okay. Nice. We will all meet in extended side angle, retracing your steps wherever you are. Inhale, rise up to your high crescent lunge. Slide onto your left ball of foot. Square the hips off. Bring your hands to heart center. You can always drop the left knee down, coming into a low lunge. Revolve side angle. Left elbow hooks over the right knee. Stay here. Maybe you open up the arms or find a bind or a twist. For 3. Keep trying to take the right rib cage and the left rib cage towards the ceiling, 2, rolling your right shoulder back. On 1, hands will come down to frame the inside of your right foot. Lizard pose. Walk the right foot as wide as the mat. You can stay lifted on the left toes, or if you want, dropping down onto that left knee, no worries at all. Staying here for about 3 more breaths. So what we're going to do right now is walk through a couple of different options to get back to our downward facing dog. First option, You can always come back up onto the hands, tucking the left toes under, and just come up to your high plank, walking that right foot back. And take it to downward facing dog, just pressing back. Second option, you come back into that lizard pose. And then Carmen might start to take her right shoulder underneath her right knee, coming into Kundun Asana. Notice how she's shifting her weight forward and leaning forward. She lifts her left foot up, and she takes her right foot out, and she goes into her chaturanga. Nice. We'll all meet in downward facing dog, taking about 3 cycles of breath. If you lost your breath, come back to it. Rinsing and repeating on the left side. Left foot steps towards the front of your mat. Rising up into your warrior one, reaching the arms up. Interlace the fingers at the back, punching the knuckles down, squeezing the shoulders together. Exhale, humble warrior, left shoulder on the inside of your left knee. Notice if your left hip is jutting out, try to pull it back, and then press your right hip forward, trying to square the hips off. Inhale, rise up to your warrior two, strong arms. Navel to spine, pressing firmly into the outer edge of your right foot. Triangle pose, inhale, straighten through the front leg. Shorten your stance with a breath. Reach forward, forward, forward. Left hand drops wherever it lands, reaching the right arm up. Stacking right shoulder over left. If your gaze allows, maybe you take it up to the right thumb. And then externally rotate your right hip out for 3. Squeezing the shoulders together, 2. 1, revolve your triangle. Take a moment to set your stance. Hands frame out your left foot. Walk the right foot up. Right hand inside or outside of your left foot, or maybe it's right on top. Left arm reaches overhead. Really deep hamstring stretch. Press into both big toe mounds. You can be even wider in your stance as needed. Both hands will come down to frame out your left foot. Standing split, lift the right leg up. Stay here in the standing split, working the hamstring stretch, or come into the Shiva squat. Exhale, right knee behind the left curtsy. Nice. Inhale, lengthen. Lift the right leg up. Exhale, Shiva squat, right heel towards left seat. Last one, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, rebend into your right knee. Stay here. Hands to heart center, or plant your hands down. Eka Pada Bakasana, one-legged crow pose. Left knee towards the tricep. Shift your weight forward. Hips are towards the left. Yes, nice, nice, nice. And we will all meet Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana B, when you're ready. Take your time, no rush at all. Softening the shoulders down the back. Inhale, flip left palm, reverse your warrior, reach back. Extended side angle, take it where it feels right for you on this side. So whether that's the forearm on the left thigh, or maybe the left hand comes all the way down. Notice how Carmen started to reduce the gap in between her left thigh and her left side body. From here, half bind or full bind if it's in your practice, but remember the bind is not what is most important. The breath. Take it where you want to go if you took any variations on the other side. Nice. And we will all slowly start to make our way back to extended side angle, no rush at all. Inhale, rise up, high crescent lunge, spin onto the right ball of your foot, or you can drop that right knee down. Hands to heart center, revolve side angle, right elbow hooks over the left knee. Use the press of the palms to lift your sternum up towards your hands. rolling your left shoulder back. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. Can you take your right rib cage more towards the ceiling? 2. On 1, lizard pose. Hands come on the inside of your left foot. Walk the left foot out as wide as the mat. Just observing maybe how one side feels different than the other. About 4 more breaths wherever you are. Try to soften the shoulders. Maybe the space behind the eyebrows. So think about how you want to get back to downward facing dog. Remember those options before. Last option, you want to do the flying lizard? Carmen's going to walk her left shoulder underneath. Other option, if you want to explore flying lizard, she starts to bend deeply into her left leg, shifting her weight forward, and takes it back to downward facing dog into Kundun Asana. Nice. I like to think of arm balances and transitions as shifting the weight forwards and backwards. So we have about 4 more breaths here. Option 1, stay in stillness. Option 2, cool down, take rest, child's pose. Last option, drop the forearms down to the ground. You could come into either a dolphin pose, which is essentially almost like a downward facing dog, and then dropping the forearms down, or a forearm plank. If you're in dolphin pose and you're looking for more stretch across the upper back, press your head through your elbows, gaze in between the feet. More strength, like Carmen was starting to do. You're gonna walk your feet up towards your elbows. Beautiful. Shifting the weight forward, maybe you just stay here. This builds tons of stability in the shoulder and also core strength. Think navel to spine. Or maybe you start to lift one foot off the ground or the other. The hops aren't necessarily important, but if you're in a safe space where you can hop, maybe you take a couple of hops. So you hop on the inhale, slowly land on the exhale, no rush at all. 3 more breaths wherever you are. Nice. We will all meet in child's pose. Take a moment, come back to your breath. Come back to the intention or dedication that you set perhaps at the beginning of class. What do you need from this last part of class? What do you need? Take 3 more cycles of breath. We will meet in downward facing dog. Slowly start to walk the hands to the back of your mat. Yep, you heard me right, back of your mat. Soften through your knees. The belly can go towards the thighs. Really soften through the knees, neck and head are heavy. Grabbing your big toes with your peace fingers. Padahustasana, inhale for length, look forward. Low belly pulls in. Exhale, fold. Neck and head can stay heavy. Elbows flare out, making diamonds. You can always keep that bend in the knees, or you can straighten out the legs, taking the sit bones towards the ceiling, finding more of a stretch in your hamstrings, but you always keep the kneecaps lifted to engage through your quads, protecting the backs of your legs. Everyone will inhale to your flat back, look forward, lengthen. Exhale, release whatever you have, yogi's choice. Ragdoll, opposite elbows. Second option, you can also slide the palms of the hands underneath the soles of the feet, coming into Padahastasana. Toes come up to the wrist creases. Forward fold on the exhale, neck and head are still heavy. Maybe you shake your head yes or no. It's starting to get darker in here, so I need to turn the lights on a little bit, which is why I'm walking across the camera. Nothing like a live stream. I feel super awkward. All right, everyone will inhale to your flat back, look forward. Exhale, release whatever you have. Grab opposite elbows, ragdoll, sway from side to side. Shake your head yes or no, unhinge the jaw, let everything go. Release your hands down to the ground. Root to rise, arms sweep up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center by the sides. On your next inhale, so we're in Tadasana at the back of our mats. You're going to reach your arms overhead. Palms are facing one another. Yep, not yet. Toes are pointed forward. Stay here on with the heels on the ground or pop up onto the toes, lifting the heels up. Engage through your legs, navel to spine. Tiny steps or high knees to the front of your mat. Try not to think too much about it, especially if you're at your house practicing by yourself. It's not as awkward. And then once you're at the top, navel to spine. Maybe you press your hands towards the ceiling like you're in a handstand, gazing up towards the ceiling for 3, 2, and 1. Hands come down, heels come down. For video's sake, Carmen's going to take her hands to her hips and take her left foot out, spinning into a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Arms come to the ceiling. Exhale, trace the midline, forward fold. Once you're here in this forward fold, if the hands come to the ground, maybe you walk your feet out just a little bit more. They should either be parallel or pigeon-toed, so big toes in, heels slightly out. Notice how Carmen's in like this chaturanga arm shape, 90-degree bend. If she starts to shift her weight forward, her crown of head might come onto the ground. And remembering, if you are at your home or somewhere else, make sure safety is a priority. If you want to take this into an inversion of your choice, feel free. We have about 5 breaths wherever you are. If you're in the inversion, hug your elbows towards one another. Nice. Navel to spine. And we will all meet. If you're up, slowly start to come down. Maybe the feet hover. Awesome. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, fold. Hands catch your waist. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands by the sides. Pasarita Padottanasana C. Interlace the fingers at the back, punch knuckles down, deep breath in, squeeze the shoulders together. Exhale, start to forward fold, chin to the chest. So Carmen's hamstrings and her thighs, she has a pretty deep forward fold here, so you'll notice that her crown of head starts to come to the ground. What you're trying to do is start to shift your weight forward towards the fronts of the feet, which can be scary, but that's where the weight is starting to go. This will allow you to flex more deeply into your hips. Imagine like you have 2 tennis balls in your hip creases and you're trying to keep them there. Inhale, rise all the way up to standing. Release whatever bind that you have. Last one, inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, trace the midline, forward fold, Pasarita Padottanasana D. Peace fingers can wrap around the big toes or hands can come around the ankles. Inhale to your flat back, look forward. Exhale, fold, bend into your arms. So you can stay here. Other options, maybe you start to walk your fingertips towards the opposite wall, walking the hands behind you. And this is another option if you have that inversion in your practice, you can take it. Yeah, she's going for it. Awesome. That one's a precarious one, so I try not to talk too much when people are in it. And then everyone will inhale to your flat back, look forward, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Hands will catch your waist. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands by the sides. Inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Coming into a middle split. Start to walk your feet out wide. So this is one of those poses where I don't make people or have people go towards that fire. I'm a big proponent of finding your edge and going for it, but this is not one of them. So if you feel any pain in the knees or the inner thighs, you've gone too far, walk the feet back in. Carmen already started to go down onto her forearms because I was talking too much. But you can always stay on your hands, no worries at all. From here, slowly start to come back up onto the hands. Walk the feet in a little bit more. And then we're gonna pivot. You're gonna pivot to face the back of your mat. So you're dropping down onto your left knee, bending into your right knee. Option one, you stay in this, bending into your left knee is forward, excuse me. I'm getting my lefts and my rights confused. Right knee is down. You can stay here in this low lunge, and you're still pressing that right hip forward. So you're getting into the hip flexor, really lovely option. Or if you want, you can come into Ardha Hanumanasana, half split. So you'll start to straighten through the left leg, yep. Toes pointed towards the face. Notice how Carmen's on her hand. She can always spider tip up her fingers or forward fold, beautiful. Or if you have that full variation in your practice and you want to take it, you can, no worries at all. Find your breath, focus on it. And slowly start to rebend into that front leg. No graceful way to do this. And we're gonna pivot through to the front and switch sides. So now, Carmen is dropping down onto her left knee. Yes, right knee is forward, staying in this low lunge, getting into the left hip flexor, or she reaches her arms up, or she forward folds and come into the half splits. Right toes point towards the face, or you can start to come into your full splits. Knowing, I like to call it my demo side and my not demo side. Our sides feel different. We're not symmetrical on either side. If you are, please let me know. So you might feel different on one side than the other. So be exactly where you are in this moment, not where you were on the one side or where you want to be. From here, slowly start to rebend into your front leg. Beautiful. And then Carmen's gonna swivel her left leg forward. So she's facing the front of her mat coming onto her seat. So both legs are forward. Beautiful. So from here, a couple of options to get back to downward facing dog. Option one, you can come through a crow pose once more. You don't necessarily have to do that. Second option, so crow pose, option one. Option two, just say, I'm done with your chaturangas. I'm going straight back to downward facing dog. Last option, if you want, Carmen starts to cross her shins and she plants her hands down and she lifts up. She swings forward and takes it back. Yes, yes, yes. Downward facing dog. That will start to build more shoulder and definitely core strength, those jump backs and also jump throughs. Inhale, you're going to step or jump to the front of your mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Grab opposite elbows or reverse prayer behind the back. Inhale, rise all the way up. Take the right leg forward, pivot to face the back of your mat for pyramid pose. Left foot is back, right foot is forward. Inhale, square the hips off. Exhale, fold. You can stay with the hands behind the back in prayer position or grabbing opposite elbows. Or if you want, you can always drop the hands down to frame out your right foot to get more balance. Everyone will inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, slowly start to shift the weight into the right foot. Coming into warrior three, lift the left leg up. Use your left glutes. Left toes spin towards the right inner thigh. Maybe you find some up dog in your chest. Stay here or start to frame out your right foot, standing split. Hands can stay exactly where they are. Or if you have the space and you want to, maybe you start to take a couple of handstand hops. The hands will come down to the ground. Notice how Carmen's still reaching her opposite leg, her left leg up towards the ceiling. Imagine like it's lifting up through the hip socket and she takes a little hop and she lands on the exhale. Nice. Maybe you catch some hang time, maybe you don't. We're just doing yoga. Nice. Last cycle of breath. And we are coming right back into our pyramid pose, dropping the left foot back. Slowly rise all the way up. Pivot to face the front of your mat. This time the left foot is forward, right foot is back. Inhale, square the hips off. Exhale, fold over your left shin. Pressing into both big toe mounds. The neck and head can stay heavy. If it doesn't feel that great, you can always walk the feet in even closer if this is too much on the hamstring. Inhale to your flat back. Start to shift the weight forward, rising up, bound warrior three, taking any arm variation that you'd like. Notice how Carmen's hips are square. Her right big toe is spinning towards her left inner thigh. Stay in this bound warrior three. I'm doing this on purpose because your legs are probably burning. So your hands will frame out your left foot, standing split. A little bit of a reprieve, but not so much, but you know what gives you a reprieve? Taking handstand hops. So if you'd like, maybe you take 4 or 5 handstand hops. No worries at all, though, if you don't want to. If you have a favorite leg that you'd like to jump off of, I'm not there to yell at you, so you can switch sides if you want to. And Carmen, you can too if you have a side that you'd prefer. Last cycle. And we will all meet pyramid pose. Slowly taking that right foot back. Opposite elbows or reverse prayer. Inhale, rise all the way up. Right foot meets left. Tadasana, releasing whatever bind that you have at the top of your mat. One standing balance on each side. Yogi's choice, you can either take tree pose. Carmen, will you turn to face the video? Yeah. So either tree pose, shifting the weight into your left foot, right sole of foot, anywhere alongside the left inner thigh, just not on top of the knee joint, or left leg, just not on top of the knee joint. Or if you want, you can take figure 4 pose, crossing your right ankle over your left thigh. From here, almost like you're sitting in a chair, you'll start to sink your hips back. And then this is where it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. Lots of ways that you can go. Arm balance, you can stay exactly where you are. If you're coming into the arm balance, are you gonna go into the arm balance? Which one? Flying pigeon? Okay, so Carmen's gonna start to drop her hands down. She takes her right foot around her left tricep like a clamp. The extension of the left leg is not important. Remember that. She shifts her weight forward. Notice how her chest is still up, her toes are pointed. Maybe she starts to extend the leg, but it's not important. And then wherever you are, we'll slowly start to retrace your steps. That was awesome. And slowly come down. Shake it off. Take anything you need. Rinsing and repeating on the other side. Shift all of the way into your right foot. Tree pose, left sole of foot, ankle, calf, upper inner thigh. Just avoid the knee joint. Or take your figure 4 pose, crossing your left ankle over your right thigh. Find that breath. That is your life force during class. Last few breaths wherever you are. Slowly start to retrace your steps. Meeting in Tadasana, top of our mat. One sun A to take it onto our seats. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, trace the midline, forward fold. Inhale to your flat back. Exhale, make your way to downward facing dog, however you want to get there. We're coming through onto our seat. So options, you can either just walk through. Second option, from downward facing dog. You can also jump through. So you'll inhale, take a little hop. Legs go out in front, nice. Seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, reach the arms up, low belly pulls in. Exhale, start to forward fold. Catch in whatever you got. You can always bend into your knees as much as you'd like to, and then start to extend the legs. The legs don't have to be straight. Catching above the feet, or maybe catching the bind around the sides of the feet. Wherever you are, we'll be here for 3 more breaths. Then you'll inhale, look forward. Exhale, slowly release. Taking the hands about 4 to 6 inches behind your hips. Fingertips point towards your seat. Either coming into upward facing plank or tabletop. If you're taking tabletop, feet will plant, hips width distance apart. And you'll lift up, hips come up. Head goes back as long as the neck allows, squeezing the shoulders together. Or option 2, upward facing plank. Point the toes. Notice how Carmen's toes are pointed forward. We don't have any floppy feet. And she lifts up, squeezing her shoulders together for 3. 2, remember to breathe. Slowly tuck the chin to the chest and come down. Keeping the left leg out in front, and you can turn to face the front again, just so that it's not weird. Right sole of foot to your left inner thigh for Janu Shirshasana A. Inhale, and then exhale, start to forward fold towards your left foot. So just as much as you think about this pose perhaps as like a hamstring stretch, think about opening out through your right hip. As long as there's no pain in the right knee. And finding that area in your right hip, that back, low back area. Inhale, look forward. And slowly release. Carmen's going to stamp her right foot into the ground like a pistol squat. There's about a fist width apart in between her right foot and her left thigh. Coming into Marichyasana A, she's going to reach forward with her right arm. Reach forward, 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 leaning forward. And then she takes a thumb down. If she's coming into the bind, she starts to wrap her right hand around her right shin. And then she catches behind her back. But remember, no bind, no problem. Other option that you can do after you forward fold, I'll demo this option, staying far away. You stamp your right foot into the ground, left foot is still engaged, and you hug your right knee in towards your chest. Everyone will inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, slowly release. So coming into one more arm balance before we take it onto our backs. Carmen's going to slowly get more into our hip. So she's going to take, we're going to come into 8-angle pose. Yep. So she's going to take her right hand to the outside of the right foot and just kind of churn it around like she's stirring something, getting into her hip. And then she starts to cradle her right heel into her left elbow. This might be enough for you this evening. Really deep hip stretch. And she kind of goes from side to side. From here, pretend like we're all going to the same place, downward facing dog, to move over to the other side. But lots of options to get back to downward facing dog. So we're gonna move through an arm balance, but it's just options. So Carmen's going to slowly start to take her right leg over her right shoulder like a backpack. She plants her right hand down and her left hand down. From here, she starts to cross the ankles and she just tries to lift up and then comes back down. So that lift up is really important. So just lifting up, second option. She lifts up, inhale, and she starts to lean forward and bends. Beautiful. If you want to take it back to downward facing dog, you can. Taking that bottom leg under, moving through Kundun Asana. Yes, so strong. Downward facing dog. And then we're going to step or hop through onto our seats. Legs are out in front. Janu Shirshasana on the other side, right leg out in front, left sole of foot, right inner thigh. Inhale. Take a slight twist towards the right foot. Exhale, fold. Notice if one shoulder is a little bit up or not. Try to square them off. Starting to slow down your breath. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, slowly release. Marichyasana A. So remember, stamping that left foot into the ground. You can either hug the knee in towards the chest if you don't want to take the bind, or start to take your left hand forward, 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 forward. Thumbs down. Wrap the left hand or arm around the left shin. From here, forward fold towards the right shin. It's almost like a crunch. If your right leg isn't engaged, engage it a little bit more. Carmen's doing a great job of doing that. Inhale, look forward. Slowly release. Left hand comes to the outside of the left foot to turn it around. Left heel comes towards the right elbow crease. You might notice one side is different than the other. Totally okay. So coming back into that 8-angle pose. Remember, you can break it down into chunks. Left leg over the left shoulder like a backpack. Left hand comes down, right hand comes down. Cross the ankles, first option. Maybe you try to find that lift. Or maybe you find the lift and then lean forward, bend into your arms, chaturanga arms. Squeeze the legs together. If you want to take it back to downward facing dog, slowly start to retrace. Awesome. Kundun Asana, downward facing dog. Inhale, step or jump through onto your seat. Legs are out in front. Arms come parallel to the ground. Slowly roll down onto your back. Stamping the feet into the ground. Taking one back bend of your choice. That could be bridge pose. If you want a more supported option, I recommend taking the feet as wide as the mat, knees knock in. That will support the low back and a lovely option. Or bridge pose or wheel pose. Wheel, hands will come alongside the ears. Bridge pose, hands will come alongside the body. Choose your variation. Exhale all the air out. Press down, rise up. If you're in wheel, press into the hands. If you're in bridge pose, lift the hips up and the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Hands can stay alongside the body, or you can interlace the fingers at the back, pressing the forearms down. 5 more breaths. Whenever you're ready, slowly start to come down. Take any counter posture that feels intuitive in your body. Happy baby, reclined butterfly pose. And we have about 15 to 20 breaths to close out class. So I am giving the option for self-practice, whether that's hip openers, maybe figure 4 pose on your back, crossing right ankle over left thigh, reach through the window, catch onto the belly of the left thigh or the left shin. Or you could take pigeon pose on each side if that's in your practice. If you'd like to take an inversion of your choice and you have the space, handstand, forearm stand, shoulder stand, whatever it is that you need. Are you going into headstand? Carmen's going into headstand. So I'll walk everyone through that. Notice how she measures elbows, makes a basket, and starts to press her head down into the ground. She tucks her toes under and she sends her hips up and walks up. She hugs one knee into the chest and then the other into that ball shape, and then she starts to lift up. Awesome. Navel to spine, and her legs are engaged, which is awesome. If you're in any sort of inversion or hip opener, you'll slowly start to make your way into that counter posture. For an inversion like headstand or handstand, forearm stand, child's pose. Or you can also take, if you are in shoulder stand, maybe Matsyasana fish pose. As you are ready, coming up to a seated position at the tops of your mats. If you have half lotus or full lotus in your practice and you'd like to take it, feel free. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just come to any comfortable seat at the top of your mat. Taking Yama Mudra, so thumbs and index fingers to touch, backs of the arms come alongside the legs, tucking the chin ever so slightly towards the chest. Take a moment to come back to your breath. Concentrating on the space behind the forehead. As you inhale, tracing the breath through the nose, the throat, the heart space, and the belly. And as you exhale, slowly pushing the breath out from the belly, the heart space, throat, and the nose. I'll invite you to stay in this seated meditation for the remainder of your practice or for the end of class. Or if you'd like, when you're ready, come into your Shavasana, final resting pose. Closing the eyes or softening the gaze over the tip of your nose. Take up as much real estate as you choose on your mat. Coming back to a smooth, steady breath for a very well-earned rest. Slowly start to deepen your inhales. Lengthen through your exhales. Movement back into the body, fingertips and toes, head from side to side. As you're ready, gather knees towards chest, rolling over to either side, head resting on bicep. Feeling the support of your own self, support of the community around you, support of this practice and of your breath coming up to a seated position. Eyes can be closed or soften the gaze over the tip of your nose. Hands to heart center, pressing the thumbs into the heart space. We'll close class with one final breath together. Take a deep breath in. Let it go. Thank you all so much for practicing with me and sharing your practice. Thank you so much, Carmen. The light in me honors and respects the light in each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining us. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., Lindsay will be doing a power flow, and at 6:30 p.m., Amy is leading a yin class. So we hope to see you again soon. Remember to subscribe, and thank you so much. Bye.